Yo, GM. Are we live, Nick? Are
We are
we?
live.
Okay.
Definitely.
I like
Definitely.
these science fiction vibes for today. It's better than the
Yeah.
soft porn from the other days.
Yeah. We just pray to our AI overlords and hope they give us good music that day.
Yeah, that's it, guys. So welcome to the Dollar Trade Show. As you know, we come here together twice a week to share with you our thoughts on prediction market and everything that's going on. And today we have not only one but two guests. We have Tahiti and we have Kyle. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you both here.
Hey, nice to meet you, and thanks for having me on the show. Super excited to speak with you guys and to speak with Kyle.
Amazing.
Yeah, also much appreciated the invite. Glad to speak with you and with the audience on the live.
Pretty cool, guys. So basically, as you guys know, we are going to cover everything that's going on prediction markets, and we're going to share our thoughts on that. But first, let's talk to Tahiti a little bit about what he's building. So Tahiti is creating a bot called Prediction Radar on Telegram. Let me share my screen with you guys. And Tahiti, tell us what can I do with Prediction Radar? And first, please introduce yourself. Let us know how you got into crypto and specifically into prediction markets.
Hey, for sure. Really excited to talk to you guys about Prediction Radar. So, my journey, like a lot of people, started around 2021. It was NFT season, made some money, lost some money, but ultimately really enjoyed the vibes of like Web3 and a bit of the degen space as well. So, I stuck around. I was here for meme coin season as well. And I think that was really interesting. If I talk about my journey into prediction markets specifically, and maybe we can get onto this later in the discussion, some of you will be aware, like meme coins pop off on any meta that's happening, right? And oftentimes that was like real world stuff as well. So I remember I actually found out that Donald Trump got shot. This was back during the election trail because I started to see like Trump got shot meme coins launching. And I was like, so that was kind of like when I understood that news of information can travel faster via like, let's call them financial rails or crypto rails necessarily than, than print media. So that for me was quite exciting. And I feel that prediction markets almost is the next evolution of that because obviously now we're trading on the outcomes directly. And yeah, so really that switch over from meme coin trader into prediction market trader, those two went in hand. At the time, I was actually building a platform for copy trading wallets on Solana. So actually, if you go to my Twitter profile, if you scroll back far enough, you'll see a lot of Solana meme coin stuff. And you also see the name is Copy Trade God. So that's kind of where that came from. Yeah,
Makes
to come
sense.
back to the point of the show today, I've been quite deeply invested in prediction markets now for about 4-ish months, I would say. And about a month and a half ago, I started building Prediction Radar, which is my first build in the space. It's a Telegram bot that allows you to do essentially a lot of alerts activities. So you'll see Poly new markets, the one that Diego has on right now, and you're able to. What I found quite frustrating about some of the other new market trackers is that they would just dump all of the new markets, and both Poly and Kalshi make like hundreds of markets a day sometimes. So the ability to kind of select them by the different tags and categories that you want them in, I found personally really useful, and I thought, well, let me put that out into the world. Similarly, as you're clicking through right now, there's the price alerts function. So if you want to know, okay, I'm interested in this market, but I just want to get a ping when, for example, maybe you have a limit order and you want to know when the prices move down towards where your limit order is, you can say, okay, that's fantastic. Alternatively, you're just looking for those psychological kind of like buy and sell levels in the market. So that's one activity that you can set on there. The one that I found honestly get the most positive reception, especially recently with what's gone on with the Venezuela strikes, but then also what's going on in other parts of the world, has been the whale alerts. So that one, and I know it's a bit hard because you can probably show on the menu, but you won't show a whale alert until a whale actually performs a buy. Similarly on this, I've done it in categories. So you can choose if you want, because for example, there are people that bet big on sports, thousands of dollars. But for example, maybe you're not a sports trader, so you don't want that noise coming into your feed. You're just interested in politics stuff, for example, for like the Venezuela or for some of the stuff that's happening in Iran right now. So that's how you'd be able to segment it. And essentially you get an alert in your feed whenever there's a trade that comes in over a certain dollar amount. Interestingly, if that account, the account that's made the trade, has a very limited amount of history, you'll actually get a slightly different message that says potential insider as well. Now, I can't, with this version of it, 100% guarantee you that that's an insider, but it's kind of the first point of DYOR. I've given you the signal, and then from here you can go and look into some of their history and understand maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Yeah. And then the last couple of features that I have are also market lookup. It's quite interesting. Or we could do lookup wallet as well.
Sorry. I had clicked on this before. And
no.
But go ahead.
Man. Yeah, okay. Lookup wallet or market wallet or market lookup. Yeah, if you put in, I'm trying to think of like a good account.
And I'm trying here. It's my wallet. No public market user.
At the moment, it works if you use the username. It's slightly better on the wallet.
Okay.
It should work with both, but it's always good to test live. This is where you learn. I think if you click try again and maybe you try the name of the wallet. Let's see if it comes up. Do we have? So click the lookup wallet button, the one right at the top.
Lookup wallet. Okay.
Yeah, and now it should work. Fingers crossed.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then from here, you get a brief overview of where their biggest wins are, where some of their losses are as well, and the categories where they're performing well or badly. And then if you click the track this wallet button, then that opens up a new feature where you will now get notifications whenever that wallet trades. Obviously for your own one, maybe not so interesting, unless maybe you placed a limit order, and you're like, well, when did my limit hit? You can just get the notification the moment it hits. Or if there's like an alpha wallet. And one thing I will say, even though I'm still the copy trade god, I don't necessarily advocate raw copying. It's like use the notifications as a signal, and then DYOR again. And if it seems like there is a good thesis for what that trader has done, then maybe you can consider copying as well.
Okay. Let me. Last night I was trying to track some markets, and I was able to. Where was that? Price alerts. It was on price alerts, I think. So I was able to.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So I was able to paste this, and I was able to start tracking. Bank of Brazil decision January. No change in Selic. This is one I have a position. Select the outcome. No change. Yes. Let price above 89. For 89 I sell every 30 minutes. Okay, cool. And all alerts. Okay, so it shows that I'm tracking these two ones, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And actually, another cool one that we can do, if you go back to the main start menu, even if you just put /start, and you do market lookup.
Market lookup.
And now, if you paste that same link you did for the Brazil, Bank of Brazil. Yeah, exactly. So now it's going to come up with this market overview. It's got the top holders, but interestingly, it's got some insight into the order book as well. So what's the liquidity in the market, where the spread is. And if you scroll ever so slightly down, you'll see there are two buttons for the order book yes and the order book no. If you click anyone, to be honest, you'll start to see the levels within the order book as well. So you have a good idea of where the liquidity is and if there's like more buyers versus sellers, some interesting points around that. So
in the levels here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is kind of my first build in the prediction market space. I am going to be launching a web app very, very soon, where you're going to be able to see some more analytics-based stuff. So I think the Telegram bot will mainly stay for alerting functions, and anything that's more analysis related. I think it's a bit easier if you have like a bigger screen. You can get some visuals on it. So you can imagine some information around looking at where traders have placed trades in a particular market, but then also whether or not the buyers or the sellers have a stronger track record for a specific market. If you're trying to evaluate, quote unquote, where's the smart money? We'll be able to look at that. And then I'm not going to promise this one straight away, but in the somewhat near future, I'm looking for something for finding insiders, so you can see essentially who got in before the big move happened. But that one, I'm still working out the kinks and the details.
Okay. So you gave me a nice hook, because we are going to talk about insiders in a bit here in the show. And Kyle, do you have any question for Tahiti? Because dude, it's looking pretty useful for me here. At least for tracking because something that I used to do is to log in on my Polymarket accounts to check the market. But with this kind of tool, and if I'm able to get notifications on Telegram, sounds good. Sounds better. But sorry, Kyle. Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't use personally such bots, and if I'm not missing, we have a bunch of such tools who allows you to track copy and see the stats of any wallet who trades in Polymarket. But if it is integrated to the Telegram, and if by using you're not facing any bugs and all works excellent, I think it's a great opportunity to try and to use, because some analyzing stuff also provided by such bots, such Polymarket and prediction markets tools. So yeah, really like it. I like the appearance.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna keep tabs on these two markets, and I'm gonna use the bots. So I'm gonna keep you guys updated about how it works. Hopefully, it's going to go up. Okay. Thanks a lot, Tahiti. Dude, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's interesting. Yeah. Let us know when the web application is going out as well, and whenever you do updates to new functionalities, this kind of stuff, let us know. But it seems easier, at least for me. It seems really easy to play around with this, and it helps me, because instead of logging in on my Polymarket account to check how the markets are going, I can just get a notification there. Okay.
Yeah, that's the goal. And I'm super open to feedback. So if yourself or anybody in the audience, tries it and there's any bugs, man, just drop me a DM. I'm always happy to chat. But yeah, thanks for the time, and let's go into the show. I'm happy to talk with you guys.
No, sure. Let me start sharing my screen here. We are not going to start with the insiders, because we have some, but I'm gonna save the best for later. And Kyle, I know you've been posting something about insiders. I'm curious to hear from you. Nick, let me know if this size is okay to see.
Looking good.
Yeah.
I think I can read
Okay. So it was interesting to see here. We mentioned how Polymarket had a partnership to show the predictions on the Golden Globe, and dude, they got 26. It's called, how they say, Polymarket called. Polymarket didn't call anything. Polymarket is the tool, so the traders called 26 from 28 winners. But it legitimates prediction market to a great audience. But as always, not everybody was excited about it. And I saw this post from Dustin Gautker. So Mob Breeders, Dustin's the biggest hater on prediction market, but everyone on Twitter was absolutely shit on Polymarket and Golden Globe integration. I don't think my Twitter is the same Twitter that his. Because on my Twitter, everybody was talking good stuff about Polymarket and Golden Globe. What
using
what
your
guys...
eyeballs and saying my Twitter said X, Y, and Z, or anybody else, is nonsense, because the Twitter builds an echo chamber for you, so you're just getting the same shit fed to you all day.
That's it. Yeah, this is why I say my Twitter, my internet.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
What is
he's saying the haters, you're saying seeing the lovers. We can't tell what's going on.
So what do you guys think? I mean, in general, to see prediction markets integrated with news, with awards, I think it's net positive for the industry, and I think it brings, especially with this win rate, not win rate, but with this accuracy, it legitimates and it shows it's a tool that works.
Yeah.
About you guys?
Yeah, Polymarket's accuracy is insane. Picking the 26 out of 28 winners is really inspiring. And as you said earlier, the pool market traders estimate pool market traders set the odds, set the predictions for the future winners, and that's why this is just working. Of course, if we are talking about the insiders on the prediction markets, the structure itself poses the chance of insiders appearance. And it's not a new thing that some markets being manipulated, being outplayed by insiders. And this is how the things works, because prediction markets are standing out as a I might guess, but it's nowadays it's number one truth source, and yeah, having the insiders on board much helps to remain the first place. That's it.
Tahiri,
Yeah, I think it's
are you yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I think it's super exciting to kind of see, like you mentioned, having Polymarket's odds overlaid into the screen, right? Because for let's say the audience which is outside of our echo chamber, who doesn't do this every single day, it popping up in more and more places is how it starts to enter that common psyche. A couple of months back, we had the South Park episode where they were also mentioning prediction markets. So, every single time it's just exposing the common people more and more. And as we know, both Poly and Kalshi did some great partnerships, especially in Q4 of last year. I know there's a partnership with UFC, which we haven't really seen the full extent of. So I assume it's going to maybe look a bit like this, where they're having some sort of an overlay within the fight, or maybe, like during the half times or the breaks. So I think it's net positive for the industry 100%. And yeah, it's showing the world at large, like people putting money where their mouth is and how that translates into information, right? That early information was 26 times out of 28. So massively interesting.
Yeah, that's incredible. That for me, that's what's called more attention is how accuracy is working, and I can come back to this later. But I think the percentage, how high they're accurate, these two this is what brings legitimacy and trust from the public. I mean, in the end, people don't care if it's off chain, if it's on chain, how it's solved, if they are using Yuma or any other oracle, but it works. And when they works, I mean, it speaks louder than anything else.
I wonder how far out those predictions were accurate. So were they accurate 20 minutes before? Were they accurate a week before? Because that's how you can really tell if it's signal or not, right? But it'd be good to know how.
Yes, there is this one, but it's for general. I mean, 4 hours, 12 hours.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
for general. I don't know for the
market.
Golden Globes. Yes, first. There is a dashboard for this. I don't know specifically if goes as granular as you're saying, but there is a Doom dashboard for this, which all this information that we are seeing here actually comes from that. This one. This guy. This is the guy, Alex. So he has a dashboard. I don't know if he goes that deep, but he at least laid down the roughly the rules to track this kind of information.
Nice.
So let's move to something important regarding regulation on the prediction markets. We know there's this coalition for prediction markets, and they announced a new bipartisan leadership for this. So basically, the guys are working forward to have a voice in the establishment of new legislation around prediction markets. And it caught my attention, this dude. This one is so cool, and I felt protected when I read this. It's time to protect truth over noise. Let's protect safe, fair markets. It sounds like a lie, but anyway, they are doing the marketing.
You look at him and you trust him, right? He's got that sort of fatherly look to him.
Dude, that's it. I mean, they are doing the correct marketing. I mean, it's an old white guy. I mean, he looks like a banker. Who doesn't trust this guy?
Who doesn't
looks like a politician? Who doesn't trust bankers and politicians, right? He looks like one. I don't know, but I mean, just highlighting how this coalition for prediction markets is clearly working actively to put together some kind of, let's say, to make prediction market voice heard when regarding
I think
legislation?
it's mostly in opposition to the Gambling Association in the US. Because let's be clear, this is all very US centric. This doesn't go outside the borders of the US, right?
Oh no, yeah. When they say
this
be
is
partisan,
just to
they are
take
talking
on the
about
US
US. Yeah.
gaming. Yeah. This is just talking about how do we push back on the Gambling Association, who's about to go full tilt and try push us out. And we can see that perfect segue into that little bit of information there. You're a master.
Yeah, I'm trying my best. So we have these.
By the way, guys, at any point, just jump in. It's not a conversation where we put our hands up. It's who shouts the loudest.
Yeah, feel free to interrupt me at any time. So I saw this post from the American Gaming Association and Indian Gaming Association sent a letter urging Congress to use cryptocurrency market structure legislation to end nationwide sports betting, disguised as event contracts. And then we have Alex Kane. So we had Sporttrade app, which is a sports trading app. Oh, by the way, there's none. I'm going to go sideways. Anyway, they disagree with the content of this letter. Exchange-based activity is completely different than versus the house activity and should be regulated as such. As a aside, this section is especially troubling, as we have seen personally, the only stakeholders that have a voice on whether and how to allow gaming in each state are the existing incumbents, with no voice given to the most important stakeholder, the customer. So I would like to hear from our guests, because this is something that we've been highlighting a lot, how prediction markets, I mean, we drew a line. Of course, you can use prediction markets for gambling, but we just show they can be really accurate in predicting the near future, and they are great tools. But the essential difference that they have from from traditional gambling is the lack of a house. So it's player versus player instead of someone setting the expectations. What do you guys think about that?
Okay, let me start. As for me, when you're using the default, the usual bet organizations, you're trading the odds that were set it not by you, not by us traded, but by organization itself. And in this case, prediction markets stand out as a new thing, with as a new prototype where the odds are traded by traders and set by traders. So that's why the accuracy is so high, because collective mind, in general, much more smarter than the single mind used to analyze the probabilities of happening of something or not happening of something, and so on. The question was about the accuracy or what? I forgot.
No, it was basically about, I mean, what you're talking. I mean, between this fight, I mean, I don't see this fight ending so far.
Okay.
So we have this coalition for prediction market fighting for a clear regulation, which is not clear. And I mean, one thing that we are going to see, I mean, essentially, as Nick highlighted, this is basically an American discussion right now. I think that these will be settled first in the US, but then I don't think we are going to. I think we are going to see the same discussion replicated all over the world when prediction markets get bigger in Europe and in other places.
I don't see that. I don't see that happening.
No,
America has a really weird betting regulation system, right? So actually, this is a much longer war that we've not seen the beginning part of it. Betting in America is really, really highly regulated state by state, right? Whereas in most other, because it is state by state and not federal. Whereas everywhere, pretty much everywhere else, it's federal. Well, I say federal, right? But done at a government level and then sunk down. Whereas people who really want to make a lot of money want it done at a regulated at a government level, so it's legal at a certain age in every state all over the country. And then they can open up. Apparently, it was only 2 years ago that they opened up online betting legally in the US, right? So this is a bigger push to pull the regulation from state level up to government, up to federal level. This is already in the UK. Like, this is already a thing. Like, there's not going to be this level of pushback. It'll probably be like, you have to be regulated as a gambling company, and if you're a crypto prediction market, because prediction markets aren't just crypto with Kalshi, and you'll see a bunch of other non-crypto prediction markets coming out in the next couple of weeks and months. There's a huge betting conference in Barcelona next week, so I'm sure we'll hear a lot of launching going on at that from the traditional betting industry. So yeah, I don't think we'll see the same sort of pushback. This is entirely US centric. Like, it's because their regulatory framework is a state by state level, not at a government level. So we won't. I don't think we'll see it in the same way. Also, there's, like, for example, you see, like, you've got the AGA and you've got the Indian Gambling Association. So, like, this is how essentially. So when the Indians had all their lands taken off them by the Europeans who went over, and then the US government cracked down on them and took all their land off them, they started to give them reservations, and in those reservations you can do gambling. This is basically how they support the communities from all the trauma that was placed upon them by Americans over 100 years ago, right? This is how they make money, right? And it's the only thing that the indigenous people of America have. So they're going to fight like fuck not to allow prediction markets in unless they get a cut.
I don't know. I still think I understand your point, but I still think that incumbents are going to try and find some way to block this new structure everywhere in the world.
But it's not going to happen, right? It's like,
like 10
years ago they did it with crypto.
For sure.
It
might be a useless discussion, but I still think we are going to see a lot of debates in the upcoming years about it before we kind of have everything.
But not globally. I think in the US, it's entirely, unless anybody else chip in if they want, if it's different, like where they are. But in the UK, there's a gambling commission. They deal with anybody doing gambling. If prediction markets in the UK are classed as gambling, you'll need to go through them. If it's classed as a financial contract, then you just go through the financial commission, right? So the frameworks are really, it's what pot
are clear. Are clear. Yeah. Okay,
and cryptos went through the financial commission. They've not created a new way of arguably, like, we have no crypto regulation in this country. It's so bad, right?
Because basically 1/3 of crypto now it's USDC on chain. So makes sense.
Before we move on, the other thing I think is interesting is, will the established betting companies, and in the different countries, are they going to do the game of, well, if we can't beat them, join them, which is kind of what we've seen in the States, where you've got, like, DraftKings, I believe, have launched a prediction market. A number of other, like, they're quite clunky from what I see. Like, the UI doesn't look fantastic, but they have launched projects that are essentially prediction markets. So yeah, I feel like the bigger companies in the space are playing both sides of the game. They might put up a resistance if they can squash it, and if they can't squash it, they say, well, we want part of the action. And some of them,
I see that. Yeah,
from my understanding,
it's already happening.
I see that coming. Yeah.
Outside of the US, it's already happening. There's
I see that coming everywhere. Yeah,
sportsbook here that's already. I don't want to say they're about to release who they are. They're about to release. I was just checking LinkedIn to see if they had announced it, but I've not had the chance. But basically, it's already happening. But they're not doing it on crypto. They're just launching Web 2 prediction markets, and I don't know their mechanism. But the thing is with traditional sportsbook and betting, they're used to making tons and tons of money out of setting the odds, right? And they make the money out of that, the lack of transparency in there, right? Prediction markets won't work like that, and they might work like that short term, but they won't work like that long term.
Yeah. So let me get this hook. So since we guys are talking about betting, and I know we avoid mention betting when we are talking about prediction market, but it's fun to see something like this. So Kalshi is now the number 3 most downloaded NFL betting app, right behind FanDuel and DraftKings. So we who are into crypto and prediction markets, we understand the benefits of transparency on having prediction markets on chain. But in the end, that I was having this discussion the other day with a guy about settlement of markets. In the end, most people don't care. They see the markets there. They see the resolution. Okay, it's accurate. It works. That's it. they will treat, people in general will treat like a betting app. And this is what it shows. I mean, people associate with that, especially with, for example, for Kalshi, over 95% of the volume come from sports. So it's hard for people to differentiate that for traditional sports betting in general.
I just checked there. So they have announced it. So the company in the UK is called Matchbook, and they're really big, and they've released the prediction market and they're launching it in the US. So there's also an interesting thing here. Like the British and the Europeans are very good at gaming, iGaming, right? The Americans not so much. So the British companies will start launching prediction, and the European market companies and probably the Asian companies will start launching prediction markets in the US. And Kalshi and Polymarket will have problems when that happens. Okay. Because they're much better at it.
And it's not clear for us yet. I mean, with the launch, and this is about Polymarket now, guys. So we know Polymarket is about to go full live with Polymarket US, but it's not clear to me if US users are going to have access to the whole markets. Is the same liquidity? It's a different market for US residents, or it's kind of just the same app? It's just going to be rolled out to new users. It's not clear to me. But anyway, it was 3 days ago. So over to 250,000 users in a single week. This was a first for Polymarket. So usage is growing. I bet most people are using. If you're not use Kyle's referral link, guys. And
shout out to Kyle.
Shout out to Kyle. And in one single day, they got 90,000 users, which was crazy. It was crazy. And I see here Polygon trending. So everything seems to be related to Polymarket. Yeah, Polygon has this narrative about payments and stablecoins. I don't know. I still think the data is just not clear to me. But yeah. I mean, usage is growing, and it might be something related to sports, because we see the NFL, the American football, they have these, how do you call the last games of the season?
I think the conference finals.
The finals?
The finals, something like that. Yeah, they're getting close to that. So interesting people are increasing. And yeah, we have some politics stuff going on, geopolitics, with Venezuela, with Iran right now. So interests are growing, and we are seeing people. My only problem with these data is we always say users. Here we say users here, but I mean, it's actually wallets. So I have like 3 accounts with different emails. It's 3 wallets, just 1 user. It's a problem. I mean, it's a generalization that we use in crypto. We say that a wallet is a user when it's not. Unless this is a know your customer platform like Kalshi, that you can tie wallets to users. I mean, this is a good metric for usage, but it's not accurate to say this is users. This is wallets. But anyway, having more wallets, it shows that there's more interest for this.
And I think there's some massive catalysts coming this year as well, right? For genuine adoption. Like we've got the World Cup. That's going to be insane.
World Cup, sure.
And then there are the US midterms as well towards the back end of the year. So I feel like if we look at historically, what was one of the things that kicked off both platforms in a big way was the US presidential elections. I know midterms aren't as big, but I feel like because the platform is now so much bigger than it was during the presidential, there'll kind of be a balancing effect where smaller type of election, but bigger audience that knows about it. So the numbers will go up. And the World Cup is obviously global. I know it doesn't quote unquote help with the narrative of like, these are just sports books with a different name. But in general, I feel like you're going to get the mass of people coming in, especially if the odds that are reflected are like slightly different from the ones that people find on the sports books. And then that's the hook, right? It's like, well, less fees, 0 fees in the case of Poly, unless they change it. And you can get like better or odds that more fairly reflect what is actually going on in the match. I think that's a big hook for a lot of people.
Yeah. So since you mentioned,
what's your thoughts, Kyle?
On what exactly?
On what?
Just on what we were chatting about there.
Do you think that the US mid-elections in FIFA World Cup, what do you think is going to be the impact on prediction markets?
I've never traded myself some markets regarding sports, and I consider this tab on prediction markets as a chapter about gambling, because it's not a big difference from the original usual bet companies, and I just don't touch all the things regarding the sports. So no thoughts about it at all.
No problem.
Kyle, let me ask you something. Since you're Kyle the writer, and I always when I follow your content, I saw this about the Pareto. Where is one?
That's a usual story, which
Yeah, the Pareto principle. Yeah, it was interesting. So before I ask you to dive into this a little bit, can I say how you identify yourself? Are you a content creator who trades, or are you a trader who create content, man?
No chance that I would be possible to create content without trading. So okay. At first I came to the Twitter as a content creator, and to create a content I need to trade. I need to see the stats of my analysis. I need to see the stats of my calls gaining profits or just losing, if I'm causing the loss of money of my readers. So yeah, of course I need to trade, and I think at this moment I'm both a content creator and prediction markets trader.
Okay,
So, yeah.
okay. And you were talking about the Pareto principle. It's based on your experience. Like 20% of your trades gives you 80% of the outcome.
We had a lot of talks and chats about the strategies, about cutting the risks, about being more effective. And this story comes too much often. So I decided that I just need to push it to the Twitter and share my thoughts to translate it to the prediction markets paradigm. So, and just wrote a few takes for people just to understand how it can be applied to the prediction markets.
And let me ask you, do you have a specific kind of market that you trade more often? Or, I mean, because we have people, we see people trading only sports, some other people trading only crypto. Do you use this rule to spread your trades as well? So do you have like 80% in one kind of markets and 20% in others, or how does that work for you?
There is no strict deviation depending of funds and positions, but my just feeling talks with me which position is worthy of more funds to be put it in and which is less. So yeah, these percentages are quite accurate, but of course my positions are not divided by 80 and 20 exactly. And of course some positions need to take much less risks, and funds committed to there must be much more fewer.
And is there any kind of market that you like to trade more often, like sport, like crypto, or politics, or?
It depends on the market trends during the last few days and weeks. So there is much spikes in volumes on the geopolitics markets. So the majority of trading time, I'm looking on the geopolitics, the US and Iran situation, and because on the markets where attention is paid, where the liquidity is efficient, the most interesting cases are appear. That's it. I used to trade mention markets, but I didn't gain success in it because I don't know politicians, for example, Trump, so good. That's why I cannot predict his fair odds for the.
What is he going to say, right?
What?
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean,
he's got to be one of the hardest people to figure out what.
I think so. I think so, bro.
Like he's just like,
so
that's where his power is in random shit. You're just like, no, stop it.
So trying to figure out some stuff. I brought this to you guys because I saw it. It's a new platform. It's not live yet. I sent them a message to get access, but it was interesting to see. So I opened this, and when you go to their website, they say, okay, this is Bloomberg terminal for crypto. Where is it? Okay, the Bloomberg terminal for prediction markets. Sorry, yeah, the Bloomberg terminal for prediction markets. And right after that, I saw this post from Nick Perez. So looks like Bloomberg for prediction markets will be Bloomberg. And then we had this announcer from Bloomberg terminal. So from who will be the next Fed chair to speculation on acquisition of Greenland by the US, we have the prediction data from Polymarket in Kalshi. WSL predicts go on the Bloomberg terminal allows you to take the pulse of what the world is thinking with. So security worksheets tailored to specific asset classes, regions, and other areas of interest created by Bloomberg experts. So that's it. I mean, it made waves because people were just tweeting, dude, if this is just gambling, why Bloomberg is inputting this on their terminal, right?
Yeah, and from
Yeah.
my
Say
perspective,
something.
go on, sorry.
Oh, you go. On you go.
No, I was going to say, I think it's because of the different asset classes that you can cover with prediction markets, right? Like some of the markets I've been looking at recently are ultimately they're based on financial instruments. So you can bet on whether the price of gold futures are going to go up or oil futures or silver futures. Similarly, there are markets for up, down on the S&P 500, on the FTSE and on the DAX, whether they'll be up or down on the day, right? And I think as time goes on, we'll start to see companies or maybe even institutions that are going to be hedging their risks that they have on, let's call them traditional financial markets with positions on prediction markets. I think the liquidity is a big part of it. These guys are obviously trading with size that is like way beyond any one individual on a PM. But I think as prediction markets mature, more and more opportunities will exist for those types of trades to be made. And I think a company like Bloomberg, which I actually entered that a gazillion years ago, definitely has a lot of interest in the space and a lot of data rails that they can bring in to make a more holistic view.
Yeah, and I believe this will bring more, let's say, smart traders to the space as well. Because once again, it gives legitimacy for whoever is building in prediction market. It gives legitimacy to the space, you know.
And Bloomberg's been into prediction markets since the last US election. They were pumping the Polymarket data into their terminal. So this is for anybody out there building the Bloomberg for prediction markets. Like Bloomberg was there before you, probably, right? Before you showed up to prediction markets. And they're going to be there afterwards because they're $1 billion company.
Yeah, they are.
With loads of sales guys.
Yeah. So it was good to see this from Dustin. Uber is serving ads for Kalshi about NFL. Makes total sense, dude. You as for an Uber, you were there 5 minutes waiting. You place a bet. Makes total sense for me. It was interesting to see. Yeah, it was nice. Then this I just caught my attention here. Those actually shout out to Nick Presler. He's coming to the show as well. He's one of the founders of Melee, and Melee posted this. We currently in private alpha and so on just hit 106x. What happens when V1 hits? So I didn't try it yet. I'm gonna send them a message to.
When's he going to send us our codes? We need to have a shot.
We need a code. Yeah.
I need my code.
I want a code and I want a referral link as well now. That's it. But yeah, he's coming to the show in a couple of weeks and we are going to talk about this and more. Okay. Oh yeah, let's see. This was, you shared this one with me, Nick? Or no? I don't recall, but okay.
No, this is you and I having a conversation.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I don't know.
Remember that.
I don't know.
That was a funny conversation.
Yeah, funny conversation. So let's share this conversation with you guys and let's see what you guys think about it. An early investor in Coinbase claims that prediction markets do not predict. They reveal the truth and reward those who knew it before everyone else. Anthony Pompliano. A prediction market is basically an economic bounty. If you have information about the world, we will pay you to make it public. and you don't have to be an insider. Pomp recalls the case of Theo, the trader who, during the US presidential election, used a method of asking neighbors and made $85 million, right? Traditional polls were completely wrong. That's the difference between prediction markets and traditional analysis. This isn't guessing. It's no act and get paid. I mean, my take on that, for sure, it was, I just commented, it was hard to believe in anything that Pompliano says about, do you guys remember he was shilling BlockFi? That's crazy. He was so excited.
Depends how long you've been around.
Yeah, I've been around for a while, so I saw this kind of bullshit. But I mean, he's totally correct about this. It is an economic bounty, and
well, actually, I mean,
you don't.
It depends. I'm just checking the running order. Depends if we talk about what Trump did to the insider.
Yeah, that's it. And then, of course, Ben, right, we come to this. You guys remember when Maduro was arrested by the US? There was this wallet was created like 25 hours ago. The guy deposited like $30,000 and made $400,000. And yesterday, Donald Trump announced that this leaker has been identified and is now in jail. The Polymarket account linked to him also appears to have been deleted. So even though there's no know your customer, it's not clear exactly who is trading. I mean, the transaction can be traced. You can see, I mean, every time that you need to off-ramp crypto, you use a centralized exchange or any bank account. I don't
even think it was
anything like. Anyway, I mean, you can track this.
Clearly, only a finite amount of people will have known that information, and they would have taken their laptop.
As well.
They would. That's how they've got that information. It doesn't even need to be that complicated. They just put a warrant out for that.
Yeah, and I'm going to move this here because I mean, I'm going to mess the lineup anyway. You know that.
Yeah, and you have been fucking up.
Yes, and I posted this.
I struggle to keep up with your mind.
Yes, after the conversation last show, I think I changed my mind. I think insider trading is good for prediction markets. I would like to hear from Kyle and Tahiri about this. What is the role of insiders, if any, in prediction markets, and what do you guys think? Is it good? Is it a feature or is it a bug on prediction markets, guys?
Okay. As for me, the insiders are the usual scene for prediction markets. There is no any restrictions in the docs, in the white paper of the usage. If you obtain the information which you may receive from your analysis from some sources like Trump's speech, Trump's insights, of course you can use it while you're trading. If you're not a governmental employee, of course. Just polar markets and insiders on the polar markets exist, and as well as any traders on the usual spot trading who may obtain some information which may affect the stocks, the spot crypto prices. The prediction markets trading is the same trading as trading of spot of stocks. So if you have information, why not use it? If you will not get some consequences after using it, yeah, just it is a reality in which we live, and I don't think it is any way bad for the prediction markets. This is why the prediction markets are claiming to be number one of truth source. Thankfully to the insiders. Yeah.
I tend to fully agree with you. So I mean, if you have a special information, and let's assume you are not there's nothing prohibiting you, like you don't work at a secret service or whatever special position in the government, so nothing stops you to put that information out. You have that information could help a lot of people, and you only have that information because of specific situation that you are in. Why don't you put that information out? If there's some potential benefit for society. So I wrote this in the article. If you have insider information about whatever Joe Rogan's going to say on the podcast, I don't care. That doesn't make anyone's life better. But
Yeah.
if it's a sensitive information, why not? I mean, and if we are treating prediction markets as a tool to aggregate information in a better way, so we as a society can make more smarter, can take smarter decisions, why not to put this information together?
Of course, if you obtain some information and you'd like to share it with the society, you can share with the society. And if you'd like to get an edge from this information while trading prediction markets, you can also go and trade prediction markets if you're not going to face the consequences, or if the society is not going to face the consequences if you trade this information. Maybe you got this information from your honest analysis. You think that the odds
Mhm.
are mispriced, and so yeah, of course we can take into account the source of this information, either you get it from your analysis or just from some secret sources. But it's just my opinion that if you obtain the information, you can do whatever you want with it. So if no consequences expected, yeah.
Yeah, and imagine you have a special information that can change some. I mean, you can change life of people who are in a place that's about to be bombed, for example. It's not about
Okay.
that. Okay, imagine I have this information. If I can write the best blog post about that, no one's going to see that. It's going to be dumped. But if I put $10,000 on the market, on a prediction market, people, oh fuck, it's a new wallet. Just put $10,000 in this position. Oh, what's going on? Something should be going on here, and then people are going to pay attention. That I think that's a use of prediction market that we cannot ignore.
Yeah, of course, it's one of the missions of the prediction markets. People who search in their on-chain analysis, the new created wallets put in large predictions into single positions, into single predictions. They start taking, they start paying more attention to the market, to the odds, which might be mispriced, and that's why
That's it.
prediction markets exist. I think
Yeah.
it's a great opportunity for the community, whether you obtain information or not.
Yeah. What about you, Tahiri? What do you think about that?
So I have 2 points to make on this. First of all, I agree with you both that, like, you know, doing your own research, you can sometimes get the same amount of insight, let's call it, as a potential insider, right, through your own. So, like, what the line is between somebody who is informed versus an insider is an interesting distinction. But the point that actually I was going to make was, I read an interesting article, and I'll try to find it for you guys after. It was, and I think the headline was, "The price is the product." And it was
The price, the
essentially
product, yeah.
a lot of people will never interact with the mechanics of a prediction market, i.e., like the trading of the shares and that kind of thing. But to your point, Diego, like, they do get informed by the outcome of, by the outcome of somebody. Yeah, this is the article. I think it's really well written. I'd recommend everybody have a read if they have a chance. And essentially it says, the output of people making predictions is a source of information for people, and therefore the existence of insiders or people just with advanced information, to your point, can communicate like, oh, something is going to happen in relation to this topic, or is more, because we're thinking probabilistically, something is more likely to happen than the information that we had maybe an hour ago prior to these trades being placed. So from that perspective, from an information communication side of things, I am not opposed to the fact that there are people who may have some advanced information. The other thing which I think is quite fascinating is it opens a completely new paradigm for what people can do when they have advanced information. I forgot who mentioned it directly, but you said, you can write a tweet or you can write a blog post, and if you have reach, it gets traction. If it doesn't, it might fall dead in the water, right? Alternative options are, for example, if it's more in the culture, media, and entertainment world, what did people do if they had access to something? Like, if you're in the States, you might go to TMZ, and TMZ might offer you like a really small amount of money, relatively, right? And be like, well, okay, I'll pay you 500 or 1,000 for your scoop, and then I'll write the big article and I'll get my payout for that. Or similarly, like in the more maybe geopolitical sense, I know there's stuff like WikiLeaks, where somebody might say, well, I'm going to do an expose on this government or on this, this thing, and that's how I'm going to push the information out there. Whereas like prediction markets are creating essentially a new incentive structure for instances where individuals have advanced information and saying, well, you can put your beliefs. And if we're talking about, like, I'm not going to call them centralized because I know they're not centralized, but if they're markets where, the platform is responsible for market creation, i.e. a Poly or a Kalshi, then you might have a more restricted range of like markets where you can use this information. Whereas I believe Mealy is somewhat permissionless and you can create your own markets, but correct me if I'm wrong. But I know there are a number of other platforms where you can propose your own market. So again, you've got this edge of information. You want to put, it's a topic which may be of interest to a large community of people. You can put that out there, and potentially there is a way for you to profit off that advanced info that you have in a different way to previously, which was write a blog post, WikiLeaks or TMZ, all of which kind of don't remunerate you that well.
No, I think it's really well put. Yeah.
Great thoughts.
I think it's tricky because I do believe that I prefer to have like just transparency, right, and see what's what. But at what point do we call it? Well, I guess no. Actually, I was thinking, I was like, so there's already rules in financial regulation that stops people. That means that you are like legally accountable if you take information that nobody else has got and reveal it for your own benefit. And that this I presume, I'm not 100% sure, but I presume that this is also the exact same for sports, right? So, for example, if you are the physiotherapist for a football team and you know who's injured, and you know that injury is most likely going to cause that team to lose its next game, and you bet on that, that is that in like what, like this is quite a gray area, right? And like I think another good example is the OpenAI browser, where and this contrasts, right? So we've got the OpenAI browser situation where out of nowhere it was like it's getting released before the end of October, and it actually happened, right? Clearly insider information. The other one was the Nobel Peace Prize, where somebody did deep research and was cleverer than everybody else and found a point and found a file on the directory of the website that had the face of somebody and nobody else on that list, right? And they made a decision that that's clearly who was going to win it, and it was the case, right? But those two things are quite different, right? It's like having actual knowledge of something happening puts you at a disproportionate advantage to everybody else. And should you be allowed to benefit from that? I don't know, right? And does that knowledge hurt other people? I don't necessarily think it does, but like this is what people be looking at, versus somebody who just gets data together and then makes probabilistic decisions, and they're right. So, like,
I think so. My take on that is that I don't care as much for that as I care for the outcome. So what's the outcome of knowing that OpenAI will release a new browser or a new feature? Nobody cares for that. It's good for OpenAI and it's financially good for whoever is trading that market. But when you know that a dictator is going to be arrested tomorrow, and if you live in that place, fuck, that changed the whole situation. I don't care where the information comes from and how that information was created or received or I don't know. I don't care. I mean, we want to have access to that information.
For the country that kidnaps.
Yeah, for the country who holds the information.
That's national security, right?
I understand.
So if you allow a breach in national security there, you can allow breaches everywhere.
But okay, now I'm gonna touch your pain point. Okay, but now, so the financial system and even fiat currency is as important for a country that issues that currency as the information that they hold. So if that is the way to think, why would we use Bitcoin and try to get out of the fiat money? Is this?
Yeah, but I'm talking. But we
I understand. No, I understand.
Money. We're using it as an asset class right now, not money.
Anyway.
Right? It never happened. It's not happening.
I get it. No, I get it. Right? So my point is, when we're I get it. I'm not thinking about who holds the information. It makes total sense. I'm thinking about the outcome of the market. If we are treating this as a tool to get the better information that we have available in society, fuck, that works. That works. So
Yeah.
that is a bounty for people to share there,
Generally,
even if they go to
we're
jail.
not-
If they go to jail after that.
The issue we have here is because we have things like stock price, earnings, sports, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not just exclusively cultural. It makes
Sure.
that argument almost impossible to take to court and say, no, there should be full transparency and that should be allowed.
Yeah.
Because if you have
Yeah.
that, you have it on things that don't matter in the world,
Sure,
like
for
sport,
sure.
product
Totally,
launches,
totally.
stuff like that. So it's so great.
Totally, I get it. Yeah, for sure.
Governments and regulatory systems do not like grey, and they will chop it into sections.
For sure.
And it's like, well, like how I would rather it be transparent, but how are they going to chop this up? Because they just do not like transparency.
I need to stop you guys here. It's a great conversation. I need a few minutes, and I have to do a kind of a rundown on everything else that we. Okay, guys, I don't think insider trading as much in. Oh fuck! I lost my. Okay, I don't think insider trading is as important as to discover why the fuck do we have a milk bottle here in this table. I cannot
I didn't
feel.
notice that.
But why? Why? Okay, that's more
There needs to
important
be a
than.
market on that. There needs to be a.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. Let's put a I mean, if you are with Polymarket, put a Polymarket badge here. If you are with Kalshi, put a Melee Limited. I don't know. Make a meme from that, guys. Dude, there's I don't know. It's a fucking president. Anyway.
It's him,
So
though. It's him.
yeah. So the article, the Tahiti manga is this one. Actually, the price is the product, which is a great article. By the way, you can find this article if you go to dollartrade.xyz. We recommend the 50-cent dollar Substack here, and then you can find this article. That's it. Okay, guys, let me speed things up here. Okay, if we mentioned this, the Smart Ape, he created a bot for trades on Polymarket. After over 100 trades profitable, he got the first loss. So I'm going to keep updating you guys on this, but next week, not today. This one is it's fun. We mentioned this. There was, I don't recall who did this analysis, but someone did a great analysis on the Diplo run. So Diplo is a DJ, and he organizes these events.
Prediction God did it, I think.
Prediction God. Okay.
God.
Yeah, and basically they were trying to find out how fast Diplo would run in New York. And it's interesting. The guy put together a lot of information, and as Nick said, I mean, it's a lot of information that is available, but it's everywhere. So he put everything together. And it's a kind of and I remember it's a kind of an interesting market. And I remember Primo Data saying, Primo Data is the guy who's in charge of data in Polymarket. How interesting was this market? Because there was a lot of volume, there was a lot of interest in this. So these markets are back. Shout out to Myriad Markets. They just got a partnership with MoonPay to do on-ramps, off-ramps, and everything in between. And they are calling this the Myriad wallet, but actually it's just an easier way to top up things to Myriad, to top up your money to Myriad and trade there. The thing that Myriad is doing differently, they are going everywhere. They are accepting multiple assets. They are running multiple chains, which it's a different approach than Polymarket and Kalshi. And also they are now supporting World Liberty Finance stablecoin USD1, which is one of the fastest growing stablecoins in the space. It's a crowded space. Competition is really hard, but USD1 is growing fast.
I won't ask why that might be, but
I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't surprise me if we see Barron Trump investing or an advisor on Myriad. Would be cool.
Yeah.
There was also this post from Tariq Mansour about regulation. I just want I just need to call it, guys. We don't do long posts on Twitter anymore. Now we have the articles. So Tariq, we love you, but bro, this deserves an article. We deserve an article from this. Then, shout out to Mehmet Avsi, the Nielsen moment for prediction markets. I'm gonna post a link on this for the newsletter tomorrow. We don't have time to cover this, but yeah, basically he's talking about how he believes prediction markets are becoming infrastructure, just like we mentioned Bilber and the Nielsen. I don't know how to call that, like as a reference for whatever we're talking about. And last but not least, article from Gigi Alcaraz, why culture markets are hard. And she's been trading culture markets on Kalshi. He always talks about them. Yeah, so if you are in culture markets, check these out. Wow, okay. I was able to finish everything, guys.
Well done.
Please, Tahiri, Kyle, one last word from you guys. What do you expect to see on prediction markets this year, and how people can stay in touch with you, how can follow you, and everything else? Please.
Okay. Thanks all for hearing, for watching. Much appreciate the invite on the $1 Trade Show. I would appreciate your follow and joining the Zero Super Cycle DAO community on the Discord, which we have for over than 3 months already. Yeah. Yeah, if you would like to trade prediction markets or always match the risks with your opportunities. Never put everything into single prediction, into single bets, which you prefer more. Yeah, just analyze the markets. Never depend on someone's calls fully. Always do your own analysis. And yeah, I wish you all good luck into prediction markets, in the trading at all. And yeah, just stay next. Thank you.
And I would say, if you listen to us and if you don't follow Kyle yet, go to X and follow Kyle, the writer with DE here. And yeah, you're putting in a great content, man. We are keeping following what you're doing. Yeah, it's great to have you here. How about you, Tahiri? You are the copy trader god. Copy trade god, Tahiri.
What do I see more of coming this year? I definitely think more markets in niche verticals. So, for example, back end of last year, there were a lot of markets for Stranger Things and the new Netflix series that came out around like, will this character die, or will a character die before the end of the series? And I think that I can foresee both of the big markets, but also like some of the other markets drilling down into these more cultural niches. I know you just shared the article by Gigi. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but, you know, getting more specific and reaching essentially, I'm going to steal the mic for 30 seconds. I think prediction markets have a bit of like a discoverability problem, where there's like, oh my God, there's so much. And I don't like regular people, non-crypto people who aren't like us, don't really know where to find one that's for them. And I think I foresee the platforms going a bit more towards some non-crypto user basis with some more bespoke markets that maybe are going to be more appealing to them. So I feel like we'll see way more of that, especially with all the partnerships that the big platforms announced towards the back end of the year. So yeah, that's my kind of foresight for 2026. I also would like to thank you both, and also Kyle as well, for having me on the show. I think it was a great discussion. Really enjoyed chatting with all you guys. If I have any advice for anybody getting into prediction markets, +1 on everything that Kyle said. My only addition would be read the resolution criteria in a lot of detail, because there are things which may happen in the real world, if that makes sense, that don't count for like the way that the prediction market is decided. And I think that is something that can catch new people out. And ultimately, you don't want them to have a bad experience, right? If you lose fair and square because what you bid on didn't happen, that's one thing. If you feel like it happened, but the rules say it didn't, it can leave a bit of a bitter taste in people's mouths. No crying in the casino, but I think for an onboarding experience perspective for a company, right, you need to look into that kind of thing as well. And I don't want anybody to lose on a technicality rather than actually why it happened. So that's my 2 cents. If you want to keep up with me, it's Tahiti Bob on Twitter. There's a 1 instead of the second I, which I know is really confusing, but somebody stole my perfect name, so here we are. And yeah, the bot that I'm building is at PredRadar on Twitter and at Prediction Radar Bot on Telegram. I'd love to get everybody's feedback. And like I said, more features and analytics coming soon. Please stay locked in with me and with the Dollar Trade Show, which is fantastic.
Amazing. Guys, great to have you both here. It was a great conversation. Appreciate your time having here, sharing your thoughts. And for you who are listening, make sure to join and to join us here on the next show on Monday, and to subscribe to the Dollar Trade at dollartrade.xyz. The free newsletter goes out 3 times a week and keep you updated with everything that's going on in this space. Nick, thanks again, man. Hope to be here with you. See you all, guys, next week. Bye-bye.
See you later, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Peace.
Ciao.
Take care.
Bye.